Study smarter, not harder. 6 science-backed techniques top students use to learn faster. The mindset shift. Why studying hard isn't enough. If you're reading this, chances are you've felt the pressure to learn faster, remember more, and perform better than ever before. Maybe you've watched top students, those who always seem calm, confident, and ahead of deadlines, and wondered, what are they doing that I'm not? The answer is simpler than you think. Great students don't necessarily work harder. Many of them don't study longer hours, don't read every page of the textbook, and don't sacrifice sleep just to finish assignments. Instead, they rely on smart strategies, science-backed, proven, and surprisingly simple to get better results with less stress. This article will guide you through 6 of the most powerful study techniques used by top students around the world, from Ivy League universities to high-performing learners in demanding fields like medicine, engineering, and law. But before we dive into the techniques, we need to start with something even deeper: your mindset. Because effective studying is not just about what you do, it's about how you think, how you see your time, and how you approach learning itself. 1. Understanding the new learning era. We live in a time where information is more abundant than ever before. With one click, you can access thousands of explanations, videos, articles, and lectures on any topic. But this creates a new problem: information overload. Students today aren't struggling because there isn't enough knowledge. They're struggling because there's too much. Your brain isn't built to absorb endless data. Instead, it thrives on structure, repetition, and meaning. Top students understand this. They don't try to memorize everything. They learn what matters, and they use methods that align with how the brain naturally works. The result? They remember longer. They understand deeper. They learn faster. They stay calmer. They avoid burnout. Meanwhile, other students fall into the trap of reading the same page 5 times, highlighting entire paragraphs, or relying on last-minute studying, all strategies proven by research to be ineffective. But once you know how your brain likes to learn, you can stop fighting against yourself. You can finally study with your brain, not against it. 2. The biggest lie students still believe. For decades, students have been told, if you want better results, you need to study harder. This advice is not only outdated, it's flat out wrong. Cognitive science, neuroscience, and educational psychology all show that effort alone does not equal results. If it did, every exhausted student would be at the top of the class. The truth is, you don't rise by studying more. You rise by studying smarter. You can spend 5 hours studying inefficiently and learn less than someone who studies intelligently for 90 minutes. Top students have mastered this principle. They know exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to extract maximum value from every session. This article will teach you their methods in a way that you can start applying today. 3. Before the techniques. The mindset of smarter learning. Before we start exploring the 6 techniques, there are 3 mindset principles you must understand. These are the foundations. Without them, all strategies will collapse. Mindset principle number 1. Your brain learns best in small, structured chunks. This is why marathon study sessions fail. Multitasking fails. Passive reading fails. Your brain wants short sessions, spaced repetition, clear intentions, deep focus. You cannot overload your neural circuits and expect high performance. Instead, you must feed your brain information the way it prefers, little by little, repeated consistently. Mindset principle number 2. Learning is not input, it's output. Most students input endlessly. Reading, highlighting, listening to lectures, copying notes. But the brain doesn't learn deeply from input. It learns from output. You remember what you actively retrieve, not what you passively consume. This single idea will transform everything about how you study. Mindset principle number 3. Consistency beats intensity. Top students are not always more talented. They're just more consistent. 30 minutes a day beats 6 hours on Sunday. Studying every day for 2 weeks beats studying 1 day for 12 hours. Small wins compound over time. This is not a motivational slogan, it's neuroscience. Your brain builds stronger neural connections through daily reinforcement, not last-minute pressure. Once you embrace this, studying becomes lighter, easier, and far more sustainable. 4. Why most students can't learn efficiently. Even smart students often fall into common traps that slow their learning and weaken their memory. Here are the top 5. Trap number 1. Reading without thinking. Students often read but don't actually process. They reach the bottom of the page and ask themselves, "Wait, what did I just read?" This is because reading is passive. The brain doesn't store information it receives passively. Trap number 2. Highlighting everything. Highlighting makes things look colorful but teaches nothing. Studies show that highlighting is one of the least effective learning strategies, especially when overused. Your brain needs engagement, not decoration. Trap number 3. Relying on last-minute studying. Cramming may help you pass tomorrow's test, but it destroys long-term memory. Your brain needs spacing, sleep, and repetition to store information deeply. Trap number 4. Multitasking while studying. Your brain is terrible at multitasking. Switching between tasks reduces learning efficiency by up to 40%. Every time you switch, you lose focus, your brain resets, your memory weakens. Top students protect their focus fiercely. They study in islands of concentration that allow the brain to work at peak ability.
Trap number 5. Studying without a plan. Many students open their books and simply hope something will happen. But the brain works better when it has direction, intention, clarity, and measurable outcomes. Top students always know exactly what they are studying, why they are studying it, and what they want to understand by the end. Studying without goals is like driving without a destination. 5. The 6 techniques. What's coming next? Now that the mindset is set, here are the 6 powerful, science-backed techniques we will explore in the next sections. Active recall, the most effective learning method ever discovered. Spaced repetition, how your brain naturally remembers. The Feynman Technique, learn deeply by teaching simply. Interleaving, a technique top mathematicians and scientists use. Dual coding, how to learn faster through visual cues. Task chunking and deep work, the productivity system used by Ivy League students. Each technique will be explained with examples, scientific reasoning, real student stories, practical application, and routines you can start using today. But first, we need to prepare your study environment and your mindset for these strategies to work at maximum power. 6. The psychology behind fast and efficient learning. Your brain is programmable. Everything you learn becomes a pattern of neural connections. The more often you access a pattern, the stronger it becomes. This is called neuroplasticity, and it's the reason habits form, skills develop, knowledge sticks. But neuroplasticity only works when you engage the brain in specific ways. Top students don't just sit and read, they trigger neuroplasticity by constantly recalling, explaining, simplifying, creating associations, and connecting ideas. They built a strong network of knowledge rather than a pile of facts. How your brain stores knowledge. Your brain uses 3 stages. Encoding, when you learn something new. Consolidation, when your brain strengthens the memory. Retrieval, when you pull that memory back into awareness. Most students only do the first stage. Top students do all 3. This is why they consistently outperform others even under stress. 7. Preparing your life for smarter studying. Before learning the techniques, set up the infrastructure of a successful learner, just like a builder prepares the foundation before constructing a house. Foundation number 1, clear goals. Instead of vague intentions like study more, work harder, or review chapter 5, use clear, actionable goals like learn the 5 major principles of supply and demand. Memorize 20 vocabulary words using active recall. Or finish 15 practice problems in calculus. Your brain loves specificity. Foundation number 2, stable routines. Top students don't rely on motivation. They rely on systems. A daily study time, a weekly review, a set method for taking notes, a clean environment, a predictable schedule. These remove decision fatigue and help you enter study mode more easily.
Foundation number 3, focus over intensity. Studying for 2 hours with low focus is worse than studying 40 minutes with full focus. Quality always wins over quantity. Foundation number 4, rest and sleep. Sleep is not optional. Your brain creates long-term memories during sleep. Skipping sleep is like hitting delete on half of what you learned. Foundation number 5, a positive identity. Tell yourself, I am a focused learner. I learn quickly and effectively. I am building powerful habits. Identity shapes behavior. Behavior creates results. 8. The student who transformed everything. Let me share a short story. A university student named Daniel once struggled with studying. He spent hours at his desk but absorbed almost nothing. He reread chapters endlessly, highlighted everything, and pulled all-nighters before exams. His results were average, and he constantly felt burned out. One day, he discovered 3 things: active recall, spaced repetition, and interleaving. He applied them with a new mindset. After a few weeks, things changed dramatically. His understanding improved. His memory sharpened. He saved hours of time. His confidence grew. Within 1 semester, he went from struggling to achieving top grades. Nothing about Daniel was special. He just learned to study like the best. And you can too. 9. A preview of what you are about to master. In the next sections, you will learn how to memorize faster, how to study with clarity, how to avoid burnout, how to understand deeply, how to recall information instantly, how to cut study time while improving results. This is not theory. These are the exact techniques used by Harvard and Stanford students, medical students, chess masters, polyglots, high-performing professionals. Once you master them, studying will no longer feel like a battle. It will feel like a skill, predictable, trainable, and even enjoyable. Part 2. Technique 1 and 2. Active recall and spaced repetition. Technique 1. Active recall. The single most powerful study method ever discovered in cognitive science. If there is one technique that separates top students from average ones, it is this. Active recall isn't just effective, it's the most effective learning method ever tested in cognitive science. It is simple. It is powerful. And once you master it, your learning will transform permanently. To understand active recall, you must understand one truth. Your brain remembers what it actively retrieves, not what it passively reads. This means, Reading does not create strong memory. Rereading is even worse. Highlighting barely helps. Watching a lecture does not equal learning. Real learning happens when you force your brain to pull information out. Think of your memory like a muscle. You strengthen it by using it, not by staring at a picture of someone else using it. Active recall does exactly that.
What exactly is active recall? Active recall means testing yourself before you feel ready, without looking at your notes, and forcing your brain to struggle to remember. It can be as simple as asking, "What did I just learn? How would I explain this to someone else? What are the key points from this chapter? How does this formula work?" The memory struggle is not a sign of failure. It is the moment your brain grows stronger. Every time you retrieve information, you deepen your understanding, you strengthen your memory, you speed up future recall, you make the knowledge more permanent. This is why top students seem to remember everything. They constantly train retrieval. Why doesn't passive study work? Passive study creates illusion of knowledge. You feel like you understand because the information is in front of you. But the moment the information disappears, so does your confidence. This is why rereading feels comfortable. Your brain sees familiar text and thinks, "Oh yes, I remember this." But in reality, you're only recognizing, not recalling. Active recall removes the safety net. It exposes what you actually know and what you don't. And this honesty is the key to rapid improvement. How top students use active recall daily. Here are the most effective forms of active recall used by high-level learners. Method A, the blank page method. Close your notes, open a blank page, write down everything you can remember about a topic. Compare to your notes. Fill in the gaps. This method builds deep memory, clarity of understanding, exam-ready recall. Method B, question-based notes. After each lecture or chapter, write 5 to 10 questions, not summaries. Then study by answering the questions. This forces retrieval and keeps you engaged. Method C, flashcards the correct way. Most students use flashcards incorrectly. They make hundreds of cards and flip through them mindlessly. Top students use them intentionally. Question on front, short answer on back. Review until recalled instantly. This is perfect for vocabulary, formulas, definitions, medical terms, scientific concepts. Method D, teaching the concept to a classmate, family member, imaginary student, or the mirror. If you can teach something simply, you truly understand it. If you can't teach it, you don't know it well enough. What happens in your brain when you use active recall? When you attempt to remember something, your brain fires neural pathways connected to that memory. Every retrieval strengthens the connection, makes the memory more stable, increases the speed of recall. Neurologists call this long-term potentiation, or LTP. The same process used to build long-term skills like playing an instrument or mastering a sport. Active recall is essentially memory training. A story: how a struggling student became a top performer. Let me tell you about a student named Maya. She studied for long hours, took beautiful notes, and highlighted textbooks in 5 colors. But her exam scores were average. Everything changed the day her professor said, "Stop reading, start testing yourself." She began using blank page review, flashcards, practice questions, and vocal teaching. Within 2 months, her confidence grew, her memory improved, and her exam performance skyrocketed. She didn't study more, she studied smarter.
active recall was the breakthrough she needed, and it will be yours too. Technique 2. Spaced repetition. How to remember anything for years. While active recall helps you pull information out of your brain, spaced repetition ensures that information stays in your brain for as long as you need it. When combined, active recall plus spaced repetition creates the ultimate learning system used by top students worldwide. If active recall is the king of learning, spaced repetition is the queen. Together, they dominate all other study techniques. 1. The science behind spaced repetition. Your brain forgets information on a predictable curve called the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. Right after learning something new, you forget 50% within a day, 70% within 2 days, 90% within a week, unless you review the information at the right time. Each review resets the forgetting curve, making the memory last longer. After several spaced reviews, you remember the information instantly. The memory becomes nearly permanent, and the effort needed to recall decreases dramatically. This is why spaced repetition is so powerful. 2. Why students who cram always forget everything. Cramming works for tomorrow's test, but it destroys long-term retention. Your brain cannot consolidate memories under pressure. That's why after exams, everything evaporates, knowledge disappears, and learning feels like running on a treadmill. Top students don't cram. They space out their reviews in a scientific pattern. 3. The best spacing schedule, used by top students. Here's the research-backed pattern. Day 0, learn the material. Day 1, review. Day 3, review. Day 7, review. Day 14, review. Day 30, review. Every 60 to 90 days, maintenance review. If you follow this schedule, using active recall, you will retain almost everything for months or even years. 4. How to use spaced repetition in real life. Method A. Flashcards with spaced review. For example, Anki. Many top students use spaced repetition software such as Anki because it schedules reviews automatically, uses active recall, saves time, and prevents overstudying. Medical students, language learners, and engineers swear by this method. Method B, the daily review box. Create 4 sections. Review today, review this week, review this month, and long-term review. Move your flashcards depending on how well you remember each one. This turns memory into a daily habit. Method C, spaced note review. Revisit your notes on Day 1, Day 3, Day 7, Day 14. But don't reread. Always use active recall during each review. Method D, practice problem scheduling. For subjects like math or physics, solve a few problems immediately, more problems the next day, revisit harder ones monthly. This builds long-lasting problem-solving skills.
5. What happens in your brain when spaced repetition begins? Your brain treats each review like a signal. This information is important. Keep it. Repeated retrieval strengthens synaptic connections, turning short-term memories into long-term storage. Over time, your brain needs less effort to remember the same information. This is cognitive efficiency at its best. 6. The biggest mistakes students make with spaced repetition. Many students try to use this method but fail because they... Mistake number 1. Review too soon. You must allow yourself to forget a little. Struggling creates stronger memory. Mistake number 2. Use passive review. Rereading is not spaced repetition. Only retrieval counts. Mistake number 3. Review everything equally. The brain wastes energy on material already mastered. Spaced repetition focuses on weak points. Mistake number 4. Skip long-term reviews. Without reinforcement, your brain eventually drops the memory. 7. A story. The medical student who memorized 20,000 facts. Medical school demands extreme memory performance. One student, Alex, was drowning in information, hundreds of pages per week. He tried studying 8 to 10 hours straight, reading entire textbooks, highlighting everything. Nothing worked. His stress was overwhelming. Then he discovered spaced repetition. He created flashcards for everything: anatomy, diseases, drug names, physiology. Every day, the software told him exactly what to review. Months later, he never felt lost. Exams became predictable. He retained almost everything. His classmates couldn't believe his memory. His secret was simple: active recall and spaced repetition. And now it's your secret too. 8. How active recall and spaced repetition work together. Think of it like this. Active recall builds the memory. Spaced repetition protects the memory. Together, they create faster understanding, deeper memory, stronger long-term retention, less study time, more confidence. This combination is the fastest way to master languages, science, math, law, medicine, business, any academic subject, any skill that requires memory. If you learn these 2 techniques alone, your study life will transform completely. But we're only halfway. 4 more powerful techniques await. In the next part, we will explore the Feynman Technique, learn deeply by teaching simply. Interleaving, how to switch topics to improve understanding. These 2 methods take your comprehension to a whole new level. Part 3, Technique 3 and 4, the Feynman Technique and Interleaving. Technique 3, the Feynman Technique. Learn deeply by teaching simply. Some students study for hours and still feel confused. Others spend less time but understand concepts so deeply that they can solve problems, explain ideas, and apply knowledge effortlessly. What makes the difference? Understanding. Real understanding. Not memorizing, not highlighting, not passive reading. True understanding, the kind that stays with you for life, comes from one powerful process: explaining the concept in your own simple words. This is the heart of the Feynman Technique, named after Richard Feynman, one of the greatest physicists of all time. He was known not only for his intelligence, but for his crystal-clear explanations of the most complex scientific theories. When people asked how he learned so fast, he replied, "If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough." This technique transforms your learning. 1. What exactly is the Feynman Technique? The Feynman Technique is a 4-step learning method. Step 1. Choose a concept you want to understand. A chapter, a process, a formula, a theory, anything. Step 2. Explain it in simple, child-friendly language. Pretend you're teaching a 12-year-old. Write or speak out loud. Step 3. Identify gaps in your explanation. Where do you hesitate? Where do you get confused? Where does your logic fall apart? These gaps reveal what you don't know yet. Step 4.
Return to your notes and simplify again. Refine your explanation until it becomes clear, simple, accurate, natural. When you reach that point, you don't just know the concept, you own it. 2. Why does this technique work? The neuroscience behind it. When you explain something simply, your brain must connect ideas, reorganize information, link concepts across memories, identify logic gaps, translate knowledge into your own language. This deep processing builds durable memory networks. Passive studying keeps information floating on the surface. The Feynman technique pushes it deep into long-term understanding. 3. How top students use the Feynman technique daily. The Feynman technique can be used in many ways. Method A, the whiteboard method. Stand in front of a board. Teach the idea to an invisible class. Remove jargon. Use examples. Check for gaps. This method is used by many Ivy League students because it simulates real teaching. Method B, the simple story method. Rewrite what you learned as a simple story. For example, instead of saying, mitochondria are organelles responsible for ATP synthesis, say, the mitochondria are like tiny power factories inside your cells that create energy. This transforms complex ideas into natural understanding. Method C, the rubber duck method. Explain concepts to an object, yes, even a rubber duck. This is famously used by programmers to debug complex code. Forcing the explanation out loud forces clarity. Method D, the voice recording method. Record yourself explaining a topic. When you listen back, confusion becomes obvious. Missing logic appears. Weak understanding is exposed. This is incredibly effective for preparing oral exams or presentations. 4. A real example of the Feynman technique. Let's say you're learning photosynthesis. You start. Photosynthesis is the process by which plants convert light into chemical energy. Good start. Now simplify. Plants take sunlight and use it to make food. Now, dig deeper. They take water from the soil and carbon dioxide from the air. The sunlight helps them turn these into sugar. The plant uses the sugar as energy.
Now you teach it like a story. It's like the plant eats light and breathes air, then uses these to cook sugar. Suddenly, the idea becomes not just understood, but unforgettable. 5. The mistakes students make with the Feynman technique. Many students explain a concept, see they sort of understand, and move on. But the power of the technique lies in identifying your weak points. Where you struggle is where your brain still needs work. Address those gaps, and your understanding will explode. 6. A story, the engineering student who finally understood. An engineering student named Sarah was frustrated. She studied long hours yet still struggled on exams. One day, her professor said, "Don't memorize equations. Explain why they matter." She started using the Feynman technique every night. She took one concept and explained it in her own words, step by step. In a few weeks, equations became clearer, problem-solving improved, her confidence doubled. She didn't change how much she studied, only how she studied. The Feynman technique was the missing piece. Technique 4. Interleaving, the smart switching strategy. Many students study one subject at a time. They spend hours doing one type of math problem, one grammar structure, one chapter of biology. This is called blocked practice, and research shows it's one of the least effective methods for long-term learning. The brain becomes bored, passive, and predictable. You feel like you're learning, but you're not. Interleaving changes everything. 1. What is interleaving? Interleaving means mixing different types of problems, subjects, or topics during a study session. Instead of AAA, BBB, CCC, you study ABC, ABC, ABC. This forces your brain to constantly switch strategies, compare ideas, and retrieve information from different memory pathways. It creates flexible, adaptable knowledge, exactly the type of knowledge needed for real exams and real-life problem solving. 2. The science behind interleaving. Neuroscientists have shown that interleaving increases retention, improves problem solving, strengthens concept differentiation, eliminates illusion of learning, and prevents autopilot studying. Because each switch forces the brain to reset, your mind stays engaged and alert. 3. How to use interleaving in real study sessions. Method A. Mix problem types. Perfect for math, physics, chemistry, and engineering. Instead of doing 20 problems of the same type, do 5 of type A, 5 of type B, 5 of type C, and 5 mixed. This strengthens your ability to choose the right technique on exams. Method B. Mix subjects. Great for heavy learning days. Instead of studying biology for 3 hours straight, try 45 minutes biology, 45 minutes math, 45 minutes English, 45 minutes review. Your brain stays fresher, sharper, and more adaptable. Method C. Mix skills. Perfect for language learners. Mix reading, listening, speaking, writing. Your language ability will grow more balanced and natural.
4. When interleaving works best. It's most effective when concepts are similar, skills overlap, problem types require different strategies, the exam requires flexible thinking. Interleaving is less useful for learning something entirely new, but extremely powerful for strengthening and applying knowledge. 5. A common question. Isn't switching bad? It depends. Multitasking is switching without intention, usually with distractions, like studying while checking your phone. This destroys focus. Interleaving is switching with intention inside the same learning goal. This strengthens memory. The difference is huge. 6. A story. The math student who stopped making the same mistake. A student named Kevin always got stuck on math exams. He understood each topic individually, but when test questions mixed them, he froze. His tutor said, "You're practicing in blocks, but the exam uses interleaving." Kevin switched to mixed problem sets. At first, it felt harder. He got lower scores on practice. But within weeks, his problem-solving ability improved, he recognized patterns faster, his exam scores rose, his confidence returned. Interleaving helped him think like a top student. 7. Why interleaving feels harder and why that's good. When students try interleaving, they say, "This feels confusing. This feels slow. This feels harder." Exactly. Your brain is doing real work. You're building flexible knowledge. Blocked practice feels easier, but produces weaker memory. Interleaving feels harder, but produces stronger mastery. The struggle is not a sign of failure, it is a sign of growth. 8. Combining the Feynman Technique and interleaving. These techniques work beautifully together. Here's a powerful routine. Learn a concept, explain it simply, the Feynman Technique, mix it with other concepts in practice problems, interleaving. Come back the next day for active recall. Use spaced repetition for long-term retention. This is the system used by elite students, whether they are Ivy League undergraduates, medical students, professional exam candidates, scientists, engineers, or language learners. It's the closest thing to a studies superpower. 9. A preview of what comes next. In Part 4, you will learn
dual coding, how to combine visuals and text for faster learning, deep work and task chunking, how to focus like top performers, how to create your own personalized study system, a full daily and weekly study routine, how to apply all 6 techniques together for maximum results. This is where everything comes together. If parts 1 through 3 built the foundation, part 4 will build the entire powerful structure of your new learning system.
Part 4. Building a lifelong system, turning study techniques into a powerful daily routine. You now understand the 6 science-backed techniques that top students around the world use to learn faster and remember more. But learning them is only the first half of the journey. The true transformation comes from building a system, a living, breathing study routine that supports your goals, adapts to your life, and grows with you. This final part is about integration. It's about taking everything you've discovered and weaving it into a daily practice powerful enough to change the trajectory of your education, your career, and your sense of self-confidence. Think of this part as the blueprint for longevity, how to study smarter not just today, but for the rest of your life. 1. The secret of high performers: consistency over intensity. There's a reason elite students don't burn out, even though they handle heavy workloads. They never rely on motivation alone. They rely on systems. Motivation is a spark. Systems are fuel. Motivation gets you to open the book. Systems keep you coming back day after day, even when life is messy, tiring, or stressful. Top students don't ask, "Do I feel ready to study?" They ask, "What does my system say I'm doing today?" This shift from emotion to structure is the difference between sporadic effort and long-term mastery. And here's the good news. A system doesn't mean strict schedules, fancy planners, or endless checklists. It means having a repeatable pattern, a structure that supports your goals. Let's build one. 2. Designing a daily study blueprint that actually works. Your study day has 4 components. 1. Review, spaced repetition. This is where you strengthen memory. 2. Study, focused work. This is where you learn new content. 3. Recall, active recall. This is where you test what you truly know. 4. Reflection, Feynman, and planning. This is where you understand deeply and plan ahead. A simple but powerful daily structure could look like this. 8 a.m., morning review, 10 to 20 minutes. Technique used, spaced repetition. Your brain is fresh in the morning, making it the perfect time to review previous material. This activates memory pathways early in the day and sets you up with a psychological win before breakfast. You can use flashcards, Anki or Quizlet or paper cards, a summary notebook, recitation from memory, mind maps. The key is light but consistent review. Think of it as sharpening your tools before starting the real work. 10 a.m., deep study block, 1 to 3 hours. Techniques used: Pomodoro, Interleaving, active recall, note simplification, Feynman. This is your main learning window. The goal is focus, not length. A powerful rhythm looks like this. Pomodoro cycle, 25 minutes of deep focus, 5-minute break. Repeat 4 times, take a 15 to 30-minute break. During each Pomodoro, pick a specific task. Read and understand a chapter, solve problems, write an essay, watch a lecture. Then, immediately follow each 25-minute session with 2 to 5 minutes of active recall. What did I just learn? Can I explain it without looking?
What questions can I generate from this content? This short recall session multiplies retention. It's not optional. It's the magic.
Interleaving example. Instead of studying math for 2 hours straight, 25 minutes math problems, 25 minutes biology concepts, 25 minutes language vocabulary, 25 minutes physics application. This approach forces your brain to discriminate between ideas, sharpening understanding far more than monotone practice. Afternoon application, 30 to 60 minutes. Technique used, Feynman Technique plus practice problems. Here's where true mastery forms. Take the most important or challenging concept you studied today and teach it. Write it in your own words. Draw it. Explain it out loud. Record a voice note teaching it. Simplify until a 12-year-old could understand it. If you get stuck, that's not failure, that's progress. It exposes your weak spots so you know exactly where to fix. Your brain loves this process. It makes learning efficient, targeted, and surprisingly fun. Evening mind map and light review, 10 to 20 minutes. Technique used, mind mapping. Before you end your study day, make a small mind map. Central idea, branches, then sub-branches. Keep it simple. Focus on connections, not aesthetics. This final 10 to 20 minutes helps transition content from short-term memory to long-term storage, especially before sleep. Bonus, you wake up the next day with clearer recall. 3. The mindset that changes everything. Techniques matter. Systems matter. But mindset is the engine behind everything. Top students share 5 core beliefs you can adopt right now. Belief 1. Challenges are not obstacles, they're invitations. Every difficult chapter, every problem you can't solve, every concept that feels impossible, these are invitations to grow. Struggle means your brain is adapting. Discomfort means you're learning. When you don't understand something, instead of saying, "I'm not good at this," try saying, "My brain is learning something new." That shift alone can change your entire academic life. Belief 2. Small wins build great minds. Top students don't aim for perfection. They aim for small, steady progress. 1 page, 1 concept, 1 practice problem, 1 Pomodoro, 1 recall session. Over months, these small wins compound into extraordinary results. Consistency beats intensity every time. Belief 3. You can design your intelligence. Your intelligence is not fixed. Your memory is not fixed. Your ability to focus is not fixed. Your brain rewires itself every time you recall information, teach a concept, solve a new problem, explain an idea out loud. Every study session is a workout for your mind. You're not just learning topics, you're building a smarter brain. Belief 4. Failure is feedback, not identity. When top students fail, they don't collapse, they analyze. Why didn't I understand this? What technique did I skip? What can I do differently next time? Failure becomes data. Data becomes strategy. Strategy becomes improvement. Belief 5. Learning is a craft, not a chore. Learning is not something you endure, it's something you refine. Like playing piano, like painting, like athletics. The more you practice, the better you become. The better you become, the more you enjoy it. Your academic life changes when you stop asking, "How do I get this over with?" and start asking, "How can I master this?" 4. How to personalize the system to your life. No 2 students are the same. You might work part-time. You might be a parent. You might be a slow reader. You might be learning in a second language. You might be managing anxiety or burnout. That's why your study system must be tailored to you. Here's how. If you study best at night, shift your system to evenings. Afternoon review, evening deep study, late night recall. If your schedule is chaotic, use micro-sessions. 10 minutes review on the bus, 5 minutes recall while waiting in line, 15 minutes reading during lunch, one 25-minute Pomodoro before bed. Small pockets add up more than you think. If you struggle with focus, start with 10-minute Pomodoros. Remove phone from your desk. Use a Study with Me video. Block distracting apps. Study in a library or co-working space. If you're just starting out, don't overwhelm yourself. Begin with 1 Pomodoro per day, 10 minutes of review, 1 simplified Feynman explanation, consistency for 7 days, then slowly expand. If you want to accelerate learning, add weekend review cycles, add weekly summary maps, increase recall intensity, boost interleaving variety. Teach each topic twice. This turns your routine into a high-performance engine. 5. The weekly system, scaling your progress. Daily systems are powerful. Weekly systems make you unstoppable. Here's what top students do every week. Weekly step 1, consolidation. Spend 30 to 60 minutes reviewing what you learned, where you struggled, what you mastered. Update your mind maps. Refine your notes. Simplify complex topics. Weekly step 2, application day. Choose one day each week to focus on practice problems, essays, case studies, real-world application. This deepens understanding and reveals weaknesses early. Weekly step 3, reset and plan. On Sunday or any quiet evening, plan your week, set goals, prepare materials, organize your desk, refresh your review schedule. This simple habit lowers stress and boosts productivity. 6. How to stay motivated for the long run. Long-term motivation doesn't come from hype videos or inspirational quotes. It comes from identity. You become motivated when you begin to believe, I am someone who learns. I am someone who improves. I am someone who keeps going. Here are tools to keep your motivation alive. Tool 1, a success log. Every day, write down one thing you learned, one thing you improved, one challenge you overcame. This builds confidence and momentum. Tool 2, a not-to-do list. Remove studying with your phone nearby, studying while tired or hungry, low-quality passive review, all-nighters, multitasking. Success is often about subtraction, not addition. Tool 3, a study environment you love. Your environment shapes your behavior. Create a place where your brain feels ready to work. Clean desk, comfortable chair, good lighting, water or tea, a timer, quiet or instrumental music. When your space signals focus, your brain follows. 7. Final message. You are capable of more than you think. Maybe you've struggled academically. Maybe you think you're not smart enough. Maybe you failed tests. Maybe you feel behind everyone else. But here is the truth. You can become a top learner. You can build a powerful mind. you can transform the way you learn forever. Not through luck, not through natural talent, but through technique, consistency, and belief. Every great student started where you are. Every expert was once a beginner. Every master had to learn how to learn. Today, you are taking control of your future. Today, you're building the habits that create excellence. Today, you're designing a smarter, stronger, more capable version of yourself. This is not the end of the journey. This is the beginning of a new kind of learning. One built on science, discipline, clarity, and purpose. From now on, you don't just study. You study smarter. You study with intention. You study with power. And your future will reflect it.
If this video inspired you or helped you learn something new, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Motivation to Study English for 30 minutes every day. Your support is the energy that keeps us creating better and more meaningful videos every single day.